Hello, John.
Hello, Valor.
And today we're going to talk about the Dail printer fiasco. The government preaches climate change to the farmers and spends over €1 million on a printer when they should be cutting back on paper in an age of the internet. What do you say?
Well, is this the printer that they had to knock down walls and have a forklift to plank it into wherever it was going?
Half of Leinster House is demolished.
So, part of the part of the knowledge where they sit. Anyways, the fact is that what is the idea of this printer? There must be an agenda somewhere about this printer, because why would anybody sane person get such a monstrosity that required such destruction to have it installed? Is it that they intend to print their own brochures or whatever it is secret that they're doing? I'm thinking of bunkers. Funny enough, I'm thinking of perhaps bunkers where people that had propaganda, I won't say where, but there's a country in Europe beginning with a G and ending with a Y. So what is the idea of this printer? What is it going to print? Aside from all together the emails, because you see, we contact each other now, and banks are contacting you sometimes by email, I think, and various other people contact. I contact a lot of people by email, and sometimes companies that you think should have an email, they seem to be hiding it. No matter what way you go about it, their email seems to be impossible to get, and yet they're in the communication business. I often wonder what they're hiding. However, that's another story. But this question of the printer and then dictating to farmers about
Climate change.
cows and sheep, and perhaps something else for all we know that they might have. But all I know is that cows and sheep being a very pastoral scene to the countryside. Can you imagine the countryside being bereft of cattle and sheep? The lovely scene of the grazing cattle chew the cud in summer. It's a lovely calming sight. I often walk near where I live and contemplate the pastoral scene as I'm going about, and liking what I see. And then the idea that say the 15-and-a-half-year-old that's now the expert on the climate, and along with the other 15-and-a-half-year-olds that's in the EU, UN or wherever they are, because they must have the brains of a 15-and-a-half-year-old, yapping about climate change and yapping about cattle. As a matter of fact, there's an article on that very subject that we're talking about, what they're dictating to the climate, and it's about the Madrid Climate Conference, and Christopher Monkton, that writes in this Catholic Voice, has Madrid Climate Conference, End Poverty, Kill the Poor, and he's quite right, he's talking about Africa. But here's what he says, which is very good, along with what we're talking about here, because we're talking in some ways about what they're doing with the one hand and dictating to other people.
Hypocrisy.
Correct. And here's what he says. The Al Gore effect, we were mentioning him earlier on. He thought there was going to be an ice age or something, or there was going to be trouble by 2019, and there's no trouble at all. Unseasonably cold weather, whenever busybodies, fat cats and predators meet to discuss the non-event that is, inverted commas, global warming, is very much in evidence here in Madrid, to which the 25th conference of the state parties to the useless and expensive framework convention on climate change was hastily transferred when rioting Chileans in Chile made it plain to their government that they had quite enough of this nonsense. Now when you hear this, when I landed here on Sunday, this Madrid, the weather was barely above freezing and it was pouring with rain, just as it had been in London. Warning, is this more of the old nonsense about the climate? Madrid airport was already clogged with earnest and self-aware delegates who had added mightily to their carbon footprint, inverted commas, by flying in from all over the gently warming planet. A surprisingly large number of them on private jets and all the rest in business class. The mere plebs travel in steerage, but the grasping, self-important people who infest these increasingly absurd conferences by the tens of thousands go first class. Pass the champagne, Alice, and never mind the bubbles are more carbon dioxide. In Spain, nothing works. The jet bridge got stuck when approaching our aircraft. Then the electronically locked doors between the jetway and the airport would not open. Then the travel later along the miles of echoing corridors between the aircraft and the exit died. So the plump, shiny shod delegates had to walk, which they didn't much like and clearly weren't used to. Then the automated passport scanners failed. Their excellencies were fuming by this stage. It had taken an hour and a quarter to go through this airport. When I got to the vast echoing conference hotel where I had been billeted, I sat at the 7-foot grand piano in the foyer and soothed myself by playing Liszt's version of Schubert's Laughing Angels lullaby, a great favourite of mine. Hardly had the sweet, gentle opening bars poured forth from the instrument, however, when Marriott employees emerged from all directions and bluntly ordered me to stop. Apparently the hotel's policy was to have a piano, but not to let anyone play it. Welcome to Spain. It goes on about what we're talking about there, and about the fact that they've come to the idea that we should be cutting down on meat and all the rest of it. Rubbish of the worst order, and this is the danger. It's like cattle following the leader, cattle sometimes, all marching to the one area. It's sort of so absurd. He wrote more or less about that in a real, how would I call it, satirical manner, and he's quite right. Anybody that believes the nonsense about it when we know climate change, you've got summer, you've got spring, summer, winter, and spring, summer, autumn and winter. I'm really forgetting about autumn. When the days get short because the sun disappears down and if it comes up, it wouldn't warm you at all. So this is the business that you are talking about, this computer, this printer that has gone into this crowd that seems to be spending money as if it's gone out of fashion.
But it must be a printer that's about the size of your average sitting room in a 3-bedroom house. I mean, this is a massive printer. It's like a private printing press. And what I'm wondering is,
it cost £1 million. I would have thought that would have cost a lot more than that. So we don't know what did it cost, do we?
I suppose we don't. But the thing is,
why it cost £1 million? It could have cost 10 million.
Why do they need a printer of that size, which is their own printing press, unless they want the printer for privacy issues?
Correct. Now you hit the nail on the head. They have an agenda. You can guarantee that this crowd that has spent money as if it's gone out of fashion, this Fine Gael crowd, with the support of Fianna Fáil, to their shame, under Lord Martin, you can take it that they have an agenda. And it will suit maybe the others as well, when Fine Gael get the walking papers when there's an election. And we don't know if they and Fianna Fáil might come together. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, do we? Mm-hmm. So don't be surprised at anything. So I'm suggesting John Malone and the Christian Jobs Action Party is suggesting to our members and all those that have any interest in what we have to say, to vote for anybody but Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil and perhaps Labour. Vote for any party that's pro-life and pro-standing up for the Irish electorate, towns and villages that's like deserted villages now, courtesy of the policies that these crowd and
Very good. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Albert.